Hello, fellow followers. Welcome back to FanZcene. Greg here, and today I have for you a working man sends Hollywood a message. Now, will Hollywood learn the right message from this movie and its success? Probably not. It's Hollywood. They never learn. But what I want to get into with this video is the movie A Working Man, directed by David Ayer, starring Jason Statham in their second movie together, written by Sylvester Stallone, based off the Chuck Dixon books Levon's Trade, opened up this past weekend to over $15 million, besting Snow White at the box office, Disney Snow White that is, which took a disastrous 66% tumble after a disastrous opening. Now, nobody, honestly, in Hollywood, or at least in the journalism spectrum and everything like that, that covers the Hollywood everything, expected a working man to be number one or to have the success it has, because they all expected Snow White, regardless of everything, because they themselves cannot see what most of the people are seeing out there with everything that was behind Snow White and how nobody wanted a live action remake of Snow White. The whole stuff with Rachel Zegler, to be honest with you, just flat out destroyed that movie. But they don't see that. They don't want to. They can't get that through their heads. But this is a win for people who like original movies. Yes, Levon's Trade, a working man, I should say, is an original movie that was successful. Now, see, we've been conditioned here to think that, oh no, how can that be successful? It only made $15 million. What does that mean? Well, you've been conditioned to think that a movie has to be made for $200 to $500 million and make $100 million opening weekend to be successful, when that's the furthest from the truth. And a lot of those movies are not successful in the end. This movie, A Working Man, was only made for $40 million. I looked it up. The production budget was $40 million, and it's already made $15 million, a little over $15 million here in the U.S. in the domestic box office. And the international box office, it's also made $15 million. So it's already made $30 million altogether, which is just $10 million from its production budget, and it's on its way to be a little more successful. Now, that bodes well. That bodes well because, as I mentioned, The Beekeeper, which was Jason Statham, David Ayer's first outing, was also made for $40 million, and it made over $60 million US domestically and over $150 million worldwide, making it extremely successful. That's what I'm saying. People want original, smaller budget movies, and they want something a little more familiar. Now, there was a study that came out. I'm going to throw this up here from Variety, that just a headline at least, but it says there was a study that came out that said most moviegoers want some new original movies in form of comedies, thrillers, action, and stuff like that, as you see there. And that is true, because I do think there is a little bit of a fatigue or burnout, whatever you want to call it, of these big blockbuster IPs and everything like that as well, superhero movies and all that. Not to say that people still don't want those, because regardless of if like somebody like myself or people who are in film think that's corporate slop, which in a lot of cases it's become corporate slop, is that the general audiences, the masses, will still want to see those big budget superhero movies and stuff. Maybe not as much as we were there for a while in the mid 2000s when Marvel and all that was going really strong, right? But the people do want something original and originality, and Working Man is an original movie that did succeed and will succeed. I will argue this. I wanted to argue this a little bit because I heard people complaining about, let's take the movie Mickey 17, right? Mickey 17 was also an original movie that flopped at the box office, and then people started complaining, saying, well, stop saying you want original movies if you're not going to give movies like Mickey 17 a chance, right? Let it succeed. I would argue that Mickey 17 isn't for the general audience, the movie going theater audience, because the general movie going theater audience has shrunk. Most people don't really care about movies anymore, especially the younger generation. They've all moved on to TikTok, YouTube, and social media, and just watching quick clips of the movies and stuff, right? But people who still do go to the theaters and still like watching movies and everything, that I would argue that Mickey 17 was made for a certain portion of the audience. Let's just say one side of the audience, and and that's why it did not succeed. I would say that's why I did not succeed as an original movie. Where I would argue, because as you saw in the article I flashed up there about that, is they said blue collar movie for a working man, right? On the surface, that may seem like it's for, because they're clearly using the blue collar term as a derogatory term in that article, because Hollywood, heaven forbid, the blue collar community actually enjoy movies. How dare they? But I would say that on the surface, that may seem like a movie that's geared towards the other side of the audience, right? But no, it isn't. It's a much more accessible, original movie for general movie-going audiences. Why? Because people like Jason Statham. He's built up this reputation. He has this everyman quality to him that connects to men and women, because men see him and they love the fact that he's just, masculine. He's kicking butt and saving the day and saving the girls and saving the men, and just badass, right? But and then also you have the women who see him, and yes, they are attracted to him. They are attracted to him. It's the bald head, it's the accent, it's the muscles. Women are attracted, and regardless what you think, women do like seeing these action type movies like this. They do like seeing that. So on the surface, this movie is for so much more than just the blue collar audience, because it not only does it play well to the blue collar audience, it also plays well to the people, general movie going normies, as you would call them, who just want to go see a movie, and regardless of politics, right? Because they always make it about politics nowadays, and that's so annoying, and that's why a lot of movies, tend to have bad returns, because it's all like Mickey 17, like I said, it's political, right? So, but like on the surface, a working man plays well for most general audiences, plays well for the men, the women, people of all types, because it's just a movie, right? It's just a movie that is original, but yet feels familiar. So that's what I argue. It's not so much about wanting something original in the vein of like Mickey 17, which it does have its audience. I'm not trying to knock the movie or anything like that, because it does have its audience. It does have its fans. People will see it, but it's not made, wasn't an original movie, I think, that was made for the general audiences. An original movie that needs to be made for general audiences, if you want people to come back to the theaters and stuff, is to make a movie that's original, yet familiar and exciting, and that leaves out the blue collar or left wing or right wing politics of movies. Doesn't mean your movie can't be political, because I know some people get uppity when they say, well, you got all art is political. No, all art is not political. And in some cases, you can just make a movie. And if you want to make a political statement, you listen to what good old John Carpenter used to say, where he's like, if you're going to make a political statement in your movie, you got to make the characters and story important first overall. And you can slip in the messaging a little bit here and there. Don't make the whole movie about the messaging, right? So, and that's why I don't think Hollywood would really learn from the success of Working Man. I keep wanting to call it Live On Straight because it's the name of the book. But that's, I think, behind the success, it may not on the surface to so many people out there who are, like I said, are conditioned to see like, well, it was only made $15 million. How's that successful? Well, you take a look at this, all right? A Working Man was made for $40 million. It's an original movie. It's familiar. It contains a star that most people like and connect with, right? And it made $15 million, right? But Snow White, on the other hand, right? That was a movie that was made for well over 100. I think like 200. I have to look it up, but maybe like $200 million. It had Rachel Ziegler. It had Gal Gadot, whatever her name is, right? And it had the Disney backing behind it and everything. And it was supposed to be this big tentpole IP franchise movie, and it flopped hard and only made like 40 something million dollars, I think, the first opening weekend, and it made less than $15 million this weekend, and it's not going to recoup its budget. So that's why A Working Man is successful and will probably continue to be successful. And if you want more original movies, because we're clearly seeing it, people want more original movies, but it's so much more than just being an original movie. Yes, you do have to give movies a chance. Yes, if you're like a movie, like if you want to say film and an autist, and you want something like that, that's more like in the vein of Mickey 17. But if you just want a good time at a movie and enjoy a movie in the theater that's familiar, original, action packed, or romantic or funny, whatever, that's how you connect to people. That's how you connect to people. And like I said, I have The Beekeeper. I like The Beekeeper. It was a pretty good movie. I wouldn't say it was like the greatest movie I've seen, but it was a good movie. It felt familiar, and it was original. And I think Working Man and more movies in the vein of that, and plus shrinking the budget, because we got to really bring down those budgets, because the budgets are ridiculous. Because once you start making movies with that big of a budget and so many committees and people involved, the movies tend to not do so well at the box office. You're seeing it more and more lately with these big budgets. Like, how many reshoots did Snow White go through? Why did they even bother releasing it at this point? It's a completely different movie than from the movie they made years ago, which is probably for the best, even though it's still not doing so well. But will Hollywood learn? I'm going to say ruin, because Hollywood is in ruins. But will Hollywood learn the right lesson from A Working Man? Probably not. They really probably won't. But if you really want something original and something new and something different, you got to give these movies a try. And Hollywood, you got to make it familiar. You got to make it something that people can connect with, not something that just get placed to one audience on either side. It has to connect both sides of the audience, right? But that's my thoughts and opinions on this. I just wanted to cover this for you guys and let you guys give some of my thoughts on this, because as somebody who really loves movies and stuff, and who's passionate about physical media movies and stuff, this is something that interests me, and I really wish that, because seeing it succeed in the box office like this is awesome. But what I can't stand is that they're probably going to run this for like two weeks in the theaters, then immediately pull it and put it on video on demand, and that's where it becomes like content to me, right? So I really wish they would let it last long, because this is something they need to do. They need to let movies breathe in the theaters a little longer. Sometimes a movie, doesn't do well, but sometimes you got to give it a chance. And, if they would just, I think there's a way where you can make these movies last a little longer in the theaters, treat theaters a little better. Theaters do need to be cleaned up and everything, taken better care of better, and let the movie in the theaters longer. Maybe release it on a physical copy first, and then make a big deal, or at least physical and streaming or something on the same day. Something like that. Like Charles Band, Full Moon, they actually released, which I thought was a great strategy. Like some of their newer movies they did, they released the Blu-ray and the DVD and the movie all on the same day on streaming, like that. That could be something. Well, that's something they need to learn. But anyways, that's just my thoughts about it. But let me know, guys, what you guys think about all this in the comments section down below. Did you see A Working Man? Did you like it? What kind of original movies do you really want to see? Are you even into movies anymore? Leave all that in the comments section down below. And if you liked what you saw here, maybe consider hitting that like button or subscribing, hitting that bell for notifications. That'd be awesome if I earn you guys' subscriptions, or possibly share the video out for everybody to see, or join and become a channel member, because that would help out my channel immensely. Thank you, and shout out to all my channel members. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you guys for being channel members here, and for all of your support. And to everybody watching, whether you like me, hated me, or liked this video, or hated this video, I thank you for sticking this long. Wherever you all are, please have a great, safe, happy, healthy day, morning, afternoon, evening, and night. Always support physical media and the stuff you really like, because it is the superior format now more than ever. Godspeed.